Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown run!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
So let me know when you want me to say something.
We've got about 15 seconds and we'll bring it in.
Everybody watching knows I'm telling the truth too, Brett.
No, I think you're
You
exaggerating.
and Luke Robinson. Try to do a show with y'all. Good luck.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We're glad that you've joined us out there wherever it is that you're tuning us in, whether it be by TV, radio, or if you're tuning us in on YouTube or Facebook. We really appreciate it. We love being able to get up every Saturday morning and bring you the latest in what's going on locally, statewide, obviously around the country, any hot news that we want to talk about as far as things going on in the world of sports. But we can't thank JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air enough for being partners of ours for a long time here on this show. Randy, we'll welcome Luke in a little bit later on or whenever he decides to roll out of the bed, which has kind of gotten uncommon. But Justice said, I still want the blowtorch in the bone political podcast. I don't know if the world's ready for that right now, but that might be something down the line.
How have I missed out on that idea? That is a wonderful idea. Who came up with that? You or Wade?
I'm sure Wade did.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, I think Wade's the one that really said,
Brett, you have got to get yourself away from all sports programming. The thing that people out there don't realize about Brett is he's very passionate as a sports broadcaster. You see that, you know that. He's way more passionate about stuff going on in the country than he is sports. I mean, some of his best takes are on political and so Brett, please, I, as your business partner, beg you to please take some advice and you and the Bone do a political based show. It'd be wonderful. Justin, I need your help, my friend.
Let me add one more thing to the plate for all of us, right? But anyway, I mean that will be that might be something down the line. We'll check that out and see. But we've got comments rolling in. I'm gonna keep popping them up. Toolman said, "Congratulations to BRHS Wildcat football, great hire for the head coach." Obviously, that's going to be where we start this morning, Randy. We'll talk about that probably a good little bit here in the first hour because that is big news. It's probably the biggest news in the state regarding it was probably bigger news than the announcement of the Super 7 being moved to Mobile. Oh, I'm just going to tell you, look, you can say what you want, but I've still got people coming up to me going, hey, what was that I saw about Super 7 going to Mobile? Was that some type of false thing? I mean, they really didn't know. They were like, I mean, they were being serious. They're like, is it really moving to Mobile? And I said, yeah, and it is moving to Mobile. It's going to alternate between Birmingham and Mobile. So I'm not going to be critical. It just kind of slipped through the cracks, the announcement did. I didn't hear a lot about it. You and I are fully engaged with HSA, and I had a lot of people calling. You had a lot of people calling and texting and going, is this right? And so I don't know if there was a missed opportunity there, if they're waiting to unveil it and talk more about it. But when they released that information, it just kind of got passed by a lot of people.
Well, let me give my reasons why, and then I'm going to promote some of the efforts that you and I do through our AHSA radio network outlets on social media. There's not anywhere near as many sports writers, commentators, broadcasters when it comes to high school sports as there once was in this state or any state. With the death of local newspapers, and I'm not saying they're all dead because you and I live in a community where we've got a really strong one. And so that's a benefit to Alexander City and the local community, and Kenneth Boone and all the newspapers that he and his family own. So we're very, very fortunate. But there's a lot of places out there that don't have it, Brett. And there's only 2 or 3 statewide columnists anymore that talk about high school sports. You don't get it. You don't get an opportunity to read about it or communicate on it anywhere near as much as when you and I grew up. When newspapers in Birmingham and Mobile and Huntsville were as strong as they were. So let me get my take on it. 1, I like it. So some out there don't like it. I do. Let me give you the first reason I like it. Mobile's been expected to drive up to the middle part of the state, to Birmingham, to Huntsville when it comes to wrestling, to Huntsville when it comes to soccer. For how long, Brett? An awful long time. Forever. So when we call state championship games in Birmingham, how long a trip is that from Mobile to get up there?
It's a long trip.
It's a long trip. Well, is it Mobile's responsibility every single time to make that trip up to the center, to the northern part of the state to play in championship games just because they happen to be in the southern part of the state? And what you and I and everyone else out there knows is there's a lot of beautiful facilities, and it's a wonderful place to visit and have a reason to go to. You know, I think about our spring sports. Our spring sports love going south for spring events and having a chance to go and do that, Brett. So I think it should have been blasted across the state from the Mobile area. I'll start there. I mean, maybe it's their sports commission and others down south that should say, this is the reason that we wanted this. This is the reasons that we went wholeheartedly after it. Because you and I also had the good fortune of working with Tuscaloosa and Auburn and Opelika hand in hand when that Auburn and Tuscaloosa deal was put down however many years ago, 12, 14 years ago. And all of those sports commissions, and I can tell you the names of the ones that were running them then. Don Staley over in Tuscaloosa, who was one of mine and your favorites. He's one of the best in the business. Went down to Foley, so he knows a lot about what's going on in the southern part of the state too. And then you had all of our good friends up here in Auburn and Opelika, from Ron Andrews to D. Mark Mitchell to you can keep John Wild, rest his soul. What a huge loss for the community of Auburn. And we can't say enough great things about John Wild first. I don't want to dive too much into that. We will maybe here shortly, because I know you thought as much of John as I did, Brett. But all of those guys were highly, highly active in making sure that everybody knew why Auburn and Alabama wanted those games. So, Brett, I'll kick it to you. You know, at a certain point, I hope we hear from Mobile on why they wanted it and why they thought it was a really good idea. Because personally, I'm all behind it. You and I haven't really talked about it at all off camera. So your thoughts on it?
You know, when Auburn and Alabama decided that they couldn't do it anymore because of the playoff structure, this has been, you know, the topic within the high school circle for a while. Will this thing stay in Birmingham permanently, or will Montgomery get a shot at it? You know, will they incorporate a Jacksonville State, a South Alabama, a UNA? How will this thing play out? And, you know, it just kind of hung out there in the open for a while, and nobody really knew anything, and you weren't getting any information. And so this announcement just kind of came out of the blue, and you knew that Mobile was a potential. You still know that I don't know if Montgomery, I don't know that there's still an opportunity for another location to be added. I know that 26 and 28 will host in Mobile, and 27 this year, and then 25 and 27 will be in Birmingham. I mean, do they add Montgomery in? Is there another venue, or is this going to be it? So that part I wanted to say. And then number two, I just remember those two sports commissions and how big an announcement it was. And I know it had a lot to do because it was Auburn and Alabama, but what a big deal the Super 7 going to those two venues was statewide and nationally. It got national news, and the partnership with both universities and the embrace of that. And, you know, this one just didn't feel that way from an announcement standpoint. And I know it's kind of, I don't want to say it's a step down, because I don't want to be critical, because I think the games being played in Birmingham are phenomenal. I love that venue. I think Birmingham with the basketball tournament and the football games being right there, it protective stadium, it's a perfect situation, and it's a perfect fit. I'm glad to see Mobile added in because I think, again, we haven't been back to Mobile since the earlier years when we did the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game and, maybe some other things that we did. We have a lot of people in that region now that work with us that handle the broadcast down there for us, and so we don't travel as much for those games anymore. But no, I think it adds a much needed void for that area of the state. I just was a little bit taken back with the amount of publicity around it. That's the thing that I took away from it, is that it kind of caught us all off guard. And,
well, and I'll speak for the HSA. I mean, 2 nice press releases came out on it. Our good friend Ron Ingram wrote it up and told the story about as well as you can. And he's still as good, if not the best, this state's ever produced when it comes to that. So the story's there for somebody to grab on. My point to you was, if I'm Mobile, I'm telling my story on why I wanted it. I'm going around in that community, Brett, and I'm explaining to them why Saraland and Spanish Fort and Viger and other schools see this as important, that they don't have to now travel 4 or 5 hours to play for a championship game every year. And some's got to travel 4 to 5 hours to come down there and play them. So I would tell that story a little better than we've seen so far. Maybe it's just because we're not down in that market sports-wise. Maybe it's being taught about by our good friend Rick Cleveland and Corey LeBounty and others that we work with.
Love to ask them.
Yeah, we'll need to get them on and just get their opinion on what they think about the games coming there, because I bet it's a big positive for them they are.
It is. I guess maybe what I was trying to say is I expected maybe a press conference announcement type deal. But maybe they didn't feel like they needed to do that. I mean, maybe they said, look, we're going to push this out there and it's great and wonderful. And maybe that's the new day and age of how things like that will be handled. I don't know. It just kind of caught me off guard. I'll say that. I'm not trying to be negative about it at all. I don't want anybody to take that way. I just think that there may be an opportunity to get even more publicity from the announcement, which is good because we want to continue. We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it a lot because that's what we do with our connection with the HSA network and what all we have going with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. We're going to go ahead and take our first break. Toolman had a great comment. We'll get to that during the break and on the other side. Up against our first break of the show. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We are your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Ready for an unforgettable escape? Jump into adventure at Lake Martin, Alabama. From thrilling water sports to peaceful fishing spots, It's love at first bite every time you cast your line. Want more excitement? Catch an event with our vibrant festivals, concerts, and fishing tournaments all year long. And when the sun sets, dive downtown to discover local shops, delicious dining, and warm southern hospitality. Explore Lake Martin, where every moment is an adventure waiting to happen.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Here we go and act like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Glad that you joined us here this morning. We're just really getting started here on the countdown, and got a lot that we're going to dive into this morning and talk about. Talking about the announcement of the Super 7, the city of Mobile being added to the rotation, I guess would be the word for
That's
the games.
a good word this morning, Brett.
They get rotation. You like that rotation word there? John said 10 days left, February 10th. Got to go get them. I don't know what's going. I mean,
Auburn and Alabama play then.
Well, no, they don't. They play on the 15th.
Okay.
So
Right.
I don't know what that means, John. You have to elaborate for us this morning. There's another one for you. We keep rolling them off. All right. Anyway, the city of Mobile in the mix now for the Super 7. Talking some high school sports. Do want to talk about John Mask, our good friend at Tallahassee High School, kicking everybody's tail down there in wrestling. Just a phenomenal season for them. They've still got the state championships coming up in Huntsville, but the dual championship, again, another runaway for them. And again, I'm not going to dive into details, and hopefully he's not going to come back on. He said, look, he'd come back on when they got the deal finished. John's superstitious about things like I am and like you are about certain things. So he doesn't want to break this mojo up. And so we'll have John on. He's had a big year. His son just signed to go and swim in college in the state of Arkansas. Had Camden on a couple of months ago on the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show, and was able to talk to him, and he was about to sign at that point. Now he has signed to go and move away and swim. He's one of the best swimmers in the state of Alabama, and he's going to be going to Arkansas to do that. But now John with this wrestling team has just been phenomenal this year. So he's had a good ending to 2024 and a good start to 2025.
I'll say this. I love the dual setup for wrestling. Brett and I talk a lot about this. My brother and I didn't wrestle, but my family's been very, very involved in wrestling with my dad and my stepdad and many others in the family, and Coach Lee and what he did with Benjamin Russell. I can't imagine how many consecutive state titles Benjamin Russell would have won in the dual setup, Brett. Because the year that the 11-year streak ended, here's your little history. And if you're a Benjamin Russell fan out there, and I'm wrong by this, call me and tell me. But the year that the 11-year streak was broke by Butler High School up in Huntsville, Benjamin Russell wrestled them in a duels match, and we scored in the high 30s, and I think they either scored 11 or 12 points. So from a duel standpoint, Benjamin Russell, pound for pound with the amount of athletes that we were throwing at them. But, the thing about the individual championship, if you get 3 or 4 guys that move through and win the thing, and then you just get a couple of others that point out, you can do something in the individual side for the state championship. But the duels is a true test. And I think John's embraced that at Tallahassee. It's a true test of how good of a wrestling team you have. You can't have your 189 just forfeit. You can't have your 160 forfeit because somebody's sick that day and you don't have anybody to put in there. You can't have your 215 just not have anybody in that weight class and you just give those points up. The really, really good teams have backups and thirds. And we used to hear this about Benjamin Russell in Ellick City. I mean, they had backups that they felt like were the second best wrestlers in the state some of those years, but they couldn't beat out the state champion that was in front of them. And in weight classes like that, Brett, it's not like you can say, okay, I mean, look at me. I'm not a big guy. I would have had to have wrestled 160 or something in high school. It's not like I can go make myself a 189. I don't have the frame for that. So if I happen to have, and we did happen to have a whole bunch of guys that are the same size as me and you, Brett, you got to beat everybody in your community that's that same size. And when that sport's as strong as it's become in Tallahassee, that's a very difficult thing. So has Tallahassee had any success in wrestling history before John Mask? I'd like to know it. I can tell you one thing, they've had an awful lot of it since he started that or been involved in that program over the last 20 years that I've kept up with it. Yeah, he's been phenomenal. I know he doesn't take a lot of credit because that's the kind of person he is, but it's him. I mean, he built that program to what it is, and he gets those kids to buy in, and they've got a tremendous youth program in that community, and it starts there, and he always talks about that when he comes on the show. And that's where it all begins, is the passion for that sport starts at a young age, just like it does in every sport. I mean, that's why you have Little League baseball and softball and Little League football and Little League basketball and all these different things. And kids that are good in tennis start when they really are able to hold a tennis racket. And you start any sport. Now, the earlier you start, the better opportunity and the better chances that you have at being really good. And, I know talent takes over at some point in time, but the earlier you expose people to things, obviously the more routine it becomes when you go out there and play. So, so congratulations to him. I know we'll talk some more about wrestling and all as we move along when the season comes to an end here in a few weeks. We'll talk some more about that, but Tallahassee has done a great job under John Mask coaching. Huntsville 7A state champions again, 1 point win over over Vestavia there, and then Mountain Brook with another state championship in Class 6A in the duels. So congratulations to those two teams as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break here on the show. When we come back, obviously big news here in Alexander City and the state of Alabama with the hiring of a new football coach. We're going to talk about that and take your comments and move right along here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Hi, I'm Abby Guy, Vice President at Riverbank and Trust. They say that most banks offer the same products, but Riverbank offers something most can't: personal connection. We love getting to know our customers by name and making them feel special with every interaction. It's a feeling of warm hospitality you won't find anywhere else. Experience it for yourself.
Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Two-man said our opinions on Alexander City bidding to host the AHSA playoff games. I just don't think from a hotel standpoint, that stadium, the Sportplex was built when it was built back in the late 80s to accommodate the Division II National Championship, I believe. That was part of the vision of when Russell Corporation basically built that facility for the city of Alex City and Benjamin Russell High School. That's why it's such a beautiful, nice facility. It's not, again, no cut on anybody else's facilities. It's not your stadium in a box, roll it out, aluminum bleacher stadium. Now, I know our visitor stands aluminum bleachers, but these modern day stadiums now, they're all aluminum all the way around. This thing is concrete and steel, and on the home side, and it was built to hold a good amount of people and to possibly host like the Division II or the Division III National Championship game in college at whatever point in time that was. Anyway, that didn't end up happening, but the capacity of the stadium and the amount of hotels in this immediate area for teams and fans and all to stay, I think probably prohibits Alexander City, and I'm just speaking off the cuff, Randy, so jump in, from being a community that could bid on something like that.
No, I can't see that happening. One thing I think will start happening with Benjamin Russell High School and Alex City with this new track facility that we finally had the good vision of putting in place. I think you're going to start seeing a lot more meets, statewide meets, sectional meets that Alex City will be able to go after, because it will be one of the top track facilities in the state. We've never been able to say that, Brett. So anybody, and I know you were involved, but there's a lot of people involved. Man, I can't say how happy I am for the kids of Alex City that they've got that new facility being built.
Yeah, we all are excited. I think, like you said, it's going to be a massive boost for our community, and there's a lot of excitement, and you're going to be able to have a facility that can host major events in the track and field. And boy, you talk about a lot of people. You talk about a lot of teams being able to come in at one time and compete. What an economic boost that would be for our community. We're looking forward to it. All right, so obviously big news here in the state. This past Monday, Benjamin Russell held a press conference and announced their 19th football coach in school history, and Kurt Johnson coming over from Montgomery Catholic, a 55-2 head coaching record mark over the last 4 years for him. He's won the last 2 state championships, one in 4A and one in 5A. Just a tremendous person. First of all, let me say that you and I didn't know him. Really, we've had some dealings with him just through the HSA, but personally, we did not know him. And, I was very impressed. I think everybody in the room was impressed with how he carried himself and the compliments that he gave everybody and what he wants to do here and what his vision is here, Randy. So we're going to talk a lot about that here over the next couple of segments. So that was my initial reaction to him at the press conference, and I'm excited about what he's going to be bringing to this program.
Look, just wonderful news. Walking around the state, and this past Sunday, I went in. I don't think he'd mind me saying that, but a mutual friend of ours, and Van Riggs, who does the same as you for Opelika, and we just think the world of Van. I think he's one of the best broadcasters in the state. He and I are in Sunday school class together, and he said, "Is what I'm hearing true?" I said, "If what you're hearing you think's positive, then yeah, it's true." I think that it's about to go down, and it did. It was kind of a little shocking. That wasn't a name when the school system, by the way, I wish nothing but the best for Smitty Grider. He had a great run here. The decision was made internally that it was time to go in a different direction both ways, I think, with Smitty's direction and with the school system's direction. So I hope he lands on his feet, and I'll do nothing but cheer for him wherever he goes. But Brett, when the news popped that we're going to be looking for a new coach, I must be honest, I didn't think of Juice. I didn't think Kirk Johnson would be one that would leave a program like Montgomery Catholic, where he has this thing at a level that I don't see stopping anytime soon. So, but he was ready for a new adventure and ready for a new task to go out and see if he could conquer. And good thing for us is we were at the perfect time when he was looking around, and Benjamin Russell, with their storied tradition, having top 10 wins all time in state history, very, very competitive teams. I don't know how many Hall of Fame coaches we've had, 6 or 7. It's a bunch of them. I can go back to Hampline and then Charles Lee and then keep going up the list if you want me to.
Well, we've had 4 in the last 40 years.
Well, maybe in the last 40, but you missed out on those 2 that are definitely in the Hall of Fame too.
Well, no, I'm just saying that I know you're saying the over. I said I'm just saying that we've had 4 in the last 40 years.
Yeah. So 6 or 7 Hall of Fame coaches. So
I think
people know that.
I think it's 6.
People know that, and people know what a tradition that we have here. And I know we're about to go up against the break.
No, we actually have
what a ridiculous. Let me say this. I'm not going to have time to get too much into it, but I will in the upcoming segment. So let me get my opinion on this. I was at the press conference. Brett was doing a presser with Kirk that I was taping, and I was standing there as Kirk was getting interviewed by the Outlook. So please share this to Tommy and anybody else over at Clay County that may have enough of a voice to be able to say. I overheard just about everything that came out of his mouth. And I also overheard Kirk back last year when he had the good fortune of bringing Montgomery Catholic up to play one of the best teams in the state in Central Clay. I've heard him say nothing but good things about Danny Horn out of his own mouth, firsthand. Who would say something bad? I've said more good things about Danny Horn than I've said about just about anybody in my own personal family. That's how much I think about him. I think you're second to me in complimenting the Horns and Danny and what he's done. How in the world that thing got taken out of context is beyond belief to me. And when I read it the first time, I said, good gosh. I was sitting there listening to it, and I heard Kirk say positive things. And who wouldn't say positive things? Anybody that knows Danny and what he stands for knows that he's the epitome of what you're looking to do as a high school coach here in this state. So I kept quiet about it. One reason I was able to keep quiet about it is I stay off that cesspool of Facebook. That's all that is. That is a sewer on Facebook. I post to it probably as much as anybody here in the state, but I don't look at it because it is straight sewage. If you want to bring your anxiety level to a fevered pitch, go sit on Facebook and scroll for about an hour. You'll get it to a fevered. There'll be somebody out there that you disagree with politically or somewhere that will get it. And I'm sorry on my soapbox, Brett, but I do want to state very clearly that Kirk never said anything negative about Danny Horn that I heard. Not a single solitary word of negative about him. So pass that along out there.
Well,
I overheard it.
Well, you're right. And first of all, let me say this. When people read something, they immediately react. And we talk about this, and this is the thing about social media nowadays. Instead of stopping and taking a breath and go, all right, let me see what's really going on here before I deliver an opinion. When I look at it from a standpoint of what makes you put something down on a Facebook post, it's usually emotion, right?
Yes.
And so it's not good to overreact sometimes or react. And then a reaction becomes an overreaction. I'm going somewhere with this is that once you put it out there, it's out there. And I know that people that are listening to this go, well, the article's out there and the quote's out there. Once you get it out there, you can't, you can retract it, but you can't retract it. All right, let me say this about that. Sam Higgs, the reporter at the Outlook, came back yesterday and pushed out I thought, an outstanding explanation of what happened. That we had some people on Facebook, not we, but there were people on Facebook that took that thing, read into it what they thought, and stirred a hornet's nest up out of nothing. And again, I can see where you can read something into something if you really dive into it, but let's just really all take a step back and be realistic for a second. Do you think that's really the first thing on his mind is to come in here as the new football coach and to take a shot at a former coach? I mean, let's use a little common sense here, people. Do you think that was what his intention was? I mean, the man's leaving a program that's 55-2, that's won 2 state championships. His wife's about to have their first child. They got a lot going on in their life. They're excited. He used these terms because I interviewed him twice now. They're excited. They're nervous and they're scared all at one time, and rightfully so. Because I remember when Kim and I were expecting our first child, and I remember, taking a job and all the emotion that goes with all that. Well, I'll pile all that into 48 hours, everybody, and see how you react to it. So that I can unequivocally tell you, he told me face to face how much respect he has for this program. He purposely brought up the names of Danny Horn and Steve Savarese and Willie Carl Martin and Phil Lazenby and those former coaches and how much he had looked up to those guys. And he came out and said, look, man, 11, 12 years ago, Catholic believed in me. I was a nobody. And, now I'm in this situation. I never would have thought I'd have had the opportunity to coach at a place like this and to follow in the footsteps of so many great coaches. Now, does that sound like somebody that wants to take a shot across the bow at one of the best coaches in this state? I don't think so. I said, so let's calm down when we read something on Facebook and maybe take a step back, because guess what happens when you go ahead and post a bunch of crap? Well, your true colors come out. And maybe you don't want to show your true colors, and maybe you were emotional about it. But once it's out there on a post, because I've seen some retractions now, I've seen some people step up and go, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said the things I said. I'm a little embarrassed by what I said. I've seen those out there on Facebook, and I applaud those people for stepping up, going, you know what? Maybe I should have just taken a step back and let this thing play out before I jump to some conclusion. So I know we're over time on this break, Russ. So let's go ahead and go to break. We come back. I think Superintendent Jay Reyes is going to join us on the link, Randy. So we're going to try to pull him in, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about it because it's a big day for Alexander City and the hiring of a new coach. So stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes. They're installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone 256-750-0381 or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill in Sunshine Heating and Air. I want to welcome in our good friend, Dr. Jay Reyes, the superintendent of Alexander City Schools. This man doesn't do much, Randy. I'm going to tell you, he just kind of sits around and drinks coffee and looks for shows like this to jump on because he's trying to find something to do. No, this is a extremely busy man. I usually get text at about 5 a.m. from him, and he's already been up for about an hour and a half. So, and then he's working till way on into the night. But glad to have Dr. Reyes on. Dr. Reyes, a massive announcement on Monday with the 19th football coach in Benjamin Russell history.
Absolutely. It was a great find for us. Having Coach Kirk Johnson, one of the most well-known head football coaches in the state of Alabama, just great to have him. I can't say enough again about the work that Shannon Benefield and Richie Brooks did, the hours and hours and hours of vetting candidates. This was an opportunity for us to, we knew there would be a lot of people apply for the job, but if I were to give you the list of individuals, as I mentioned when we had our press conference the other day, we actually verbally via Zoom or in person talked to 13 candidates and spent about 2 hours with each one of them, narrowed that down to 3 or 4 folks, and then we brought them back in. Kirk obviously was our number one choice, but there were some twos and threes that were really, really close. You're talking about out of those 13, you're talking about 10 of those individuals have played for or won a state championship. And I think that just goes back to what you guys have been saying this morning is this is one of the premier high school football coaching jobs in the state of Alabama. And I don't think there's any doubt about that among anybody in this state that follows high school athletics.
Jay, your talks with Kirk, I don't know how much you knew him before. I can jump out and say exactly what Brett said, that we knew of Kirk. We've had the good fortune of interviewing him a few times for the HSA, and so I have just watched him from afar and got a lot of mutual friends that think the world of him. But what was a couple of things that really set you off in saying this is the right man for the job at the right time here at Benjamin Russell?
Sure. Well, from a football standpoint, I think what you want to do is you want to ask people that you know and respect to tell you about their football team. And when you talk to anyone, that has played against Coach Johnson and his team, what you'll hear is that the kids are always in the right place every single time. They're tough. They're physical. They're also very respectful. You won't find a bunch of kids. And from what I've talked to is that, Kirk demands not only that they be good athletes, but they be good human beings as well. So that's the kind of things that you want to hear when you talk to other folks. But I tell you, guys, there's just something about some people that draws you unto them. And, when I talked with Kirk probably for about 4 hours, I can name 3 or 4, people that I've been around. Of course, being able to be around Danny for 5 years when I was the former principal, he brings that same kind of feel is that, I'm a grown man. I couldn't play or hit anybody. I'd probably hurt myself. I couldn't even go one play. But he's one of those people that, in those 4 hours of talking with him, if he'd have told me to go over there and run through that wall, I get that feeling about him. Just like, Danny could have told me, get in, Reyes, and run the ball, and I was on the sideline, I would have gotten in. That's the same kind of feel that I get from Kirk, is that he just draws people unto himself, and you want to play for him. And, I think that's what's going to happen. You're going to see kids come out that have not come out in quite a while that are going to get back on our team. And listen, we've got a lot of good things going with a new high school, new athletic facilities. I think you're going to see people from externally want to be a part of our program. And we certainly welcome people to look at our community and what it has to offer. It's a great place to be. And listen, y'all think I'm kidding, but I sleep in this color. I mean, I just do. And there are a lot of people that are excited about being a part of what we've got going on. And Kirk is just going to be rock solid for us. He draws people unto himself into our program.
Dr. Reyes, we're about a minute away from our next break, so we're going to get you to stay with us. And we're going to stay up, obviously, live throughout this whole time on social media and YouTube. But we have to take a break for our statewide TV and radio. So we'll be taking a break here in about a minute. I just wanted to let you know we wanted you to stay on for at least another segment to continue to talk about this. But you're right. I think one thing you look at is the history of Montgomery Catholic and the success they've had over the last decade. And now he's been the leader for the last 4 years. And people can say what they want. They've had great teams and great players, but he finally got them over the hump.
Sure.
And Randy and I have talked about that. And so when you get the keys handed over to you, it's a lot of pressure. And they had to figure out a way to take that next step, and obviously he was able to do that at Montgomery Catholic. So what we're going to go ahead and do is take another break right now, and I want to get your response on that coming back, because we've got the utmost respect for Montgomery Catholic. I know they feel like all we do is come down there and pluck their coaches, but that should be a compliment to them, and you and I talked about that too. You want other places to come after your guy, because that means you're doing some really good things. So, all right, so we'll go ahead and take our next break here. For statewide TV and radio. We'll be back here with more of the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hello, this is Little Mo right here with you from DLR Us Auto Sales. At DLR Us, we have multiple sedans and SUVs. Come see us at 33445 U.S. Highway 280, Childersburg, Alabama, 35044. Call us at 256-267-3257. Let's make a deal, people. Our down payment is based on $500 down. With the approval of credit, we make it happen. We work with you. We got the choice for you, and we make the right deal.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, is looking for the next hometown hero. Hometown heroes could be first responders, public service workers, community leaders, pastors, community volunteers, or anyone who is making a difference in your hometown. Submit your nominations now online at myhscu.com. And if your nominee is selected, they will get a $100 Visa cash card and a certificate of appreciation from Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, federally insured by the NCUA.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekend. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Have Dr. Jay Reyes with us here from the Alexander City School System, our superintendent here in Alexander City. And I want to go to some of these comments real quick before we talk some more about the hire of Kurt Johnson. Justin says, Mosley says, excited to see where our program goes. Great hire. Justin Clayton wants to know about the potential of what it looks like in the next reclassification, coaches, for Ben Russell. Does it look like maybe staying in 6A or a possibility of being a 5A school in the next reclassification?
Well, we have been for the past 6-8 years. We've been hovering on that border. And, I think in looking at where we are right now, certainly I won't guarantee anything, but we certainly look like that we have an opportunity to drop. Again, we'll keep taking a look at that, looking at those numbers. There's some things that we've got to do administratively on that side. But, I was here before and we were 6A for a while, went to 5A, and I think that we're real close, and but I remember Brett. We had an interview back down in Davidston when we went down there and beat them, I think 10-6, and we had the same conversation. And you and I both said, "Listen, 5A, 6A, listen, it doesn't matter. Our mindset doesn't change." And I said the same thing. Blue collar. Listen, we're old Milltown, and we want to get it back 5 to 6A. Doesn't matter when you come to our place. We certainly want to win, but even if we don't, we want teams not to want to play us. And I think that's what we're capable of, regardless of whether we're 5 or 6A. And I know Coach Johnson's going to build on that, and we're going to be a team that people don't want to play.
Yeah, no doubt. Randy, you talk about the vision of what Kurt Johnson talked about. And I asked the question in the press conference, how important is it to start in the 7th grade? And he said, well, in Montgomery, you got to start earlier than that, because he said you got to keep your kids in your area, and you got to start at Little League level. And we all know that, but from a school standpoint, it really starts in 7th grade. So he kind of elaborated on his vision there, and to make sure, our middle school is performing at the highest level and the kids are learning the right system and they're getting coached up. And he talked about it. He said, wins, I want to win, but winning down there is not the important thing. It's getting developed and getting to the point where when they get to the high school, they're ready to go.
If you're not, you're behind. You and I have the good fortune of traveling this state and seeing what some of the best programs in the state are doing. And if you're not working down in the middle school ranks and you've got a kid that's a good athlete and he decides that he's going to start working out in 10th grade and these other kids have been 3 or 4 years into a system, good luck. Maybe the good Lord puts his finger down on him and he gets there. But for the most part, the programs that are winning for a reason, and they're working all the way down. So I applaud Jay Reyes, not just because Jay's right here, but he's holding and he's demanding excellence from top to bottom. And if you don't demand excellence of yourself, then you're probably not going to work out in this system. And that's perfectly fine with me because I'm going to applaud the efforts out there. And I think that you'll see everything pay off here in the short term by demanding excellence down into that 7th and 8th grade program. And I said it during the break, I think all of this revolves back around to the weight room. It builds toughness, it builds work ethic. And if you don't have somebody completely committed from the 7th to the 12th grade in there, then you're going to struggle in today's athletic world.
Guys, let's talk about the success of what Ricky Pulliam's done with the girls basketball team. And then, of course, Jeremy Freeman continues to be successful on the boys side. And then, all the sports really at Benjamin Russell. Coach, you've bragged on it. They've bought in and you've seen a difference. But Ricky, I'm biased a little bit. Ricky's a classmate of mine, and Randy played football with Ricky at Benjamin Russell, and he's been successful again, like Kurt. Whether it be at Hueytown or Chilton County or wherever that guy goes, that program wins, and he's the common denominator. And Ricky took a program that had struggled for a little while, and man, he has won 21 plus games in his first season, and won the region championship, the regular season region championship. And I know he wants to win the area tournament, but man, that's a great story here in the State's got him in the top 10.
Absolutely. And Ricky's done a great job. And it goes back to, you got to have players to play. We understand that. You're not going to win without some talent, but you cannot underestimate the value of coaching. And, Ricky's style is up tempo. They're going to push the ball. They're going to press. But I also will say this about Ricky. Ricky's one of those coaches, again, that he understands that, we can't have 58 head coaches for the girls basketball team. And that includes, even myself and our administration and parents and community members. Ricky is the coach, and everybody knows that. Now, certainly, everybody, we have accountability, but you've got to let a coach do their job. And as long as they're treating kids the right way, if they're demanding of those players, boys or girls, that's a good thing. I mean, guys, life is hard. And you come to Benjamin Russell, we're going to love you. Ricky loves those kids. Jeremy loves those kids, but they coach them hard. And I think you see the results. And I appreciate our parents and community allowing those guys to do their job. But it's just a great story. 21-6. I think we've won 20 games in the last 5 years.
That's right.
You have our boys. I believe they've won their 4th straight area championship. The girls, I think that may be the first time since like 06 or 07 or something like that. We legitimately on our girls' side, such a turnaround. If we get the right draw, I mean, I really see us going to regionals, and it's not beyond the realm of possibility that I might be sleeping in Birmingham a night or two, and I would welcome that. But Jeremy's done a great job as well. His time with Joe Blue at Coosa, he's seen good basketball all his life. We're very athletic on our basketball team. Listen, I've watched 3 or 4 games, and there's a couple times I thought the whole backboard was going to come down when Sedarian just ripped it down, just like Randy did back when he was in high school.
Not quite.
It was, listen, we've got things rolling, and let me say this. You look about us going into a 1,200-seat arena, a basketball arena. Again, I think that's going to be a draw not only for our kids and not being disparaging to other people's facilities, but, kids, when they come into that gymnasium, there are going to be other kids that may not necessarily go, that live in Alex City that, they're going to want to play in that gym. And I think it's just another great marketing tool for us to market our program and what we want to be.
Yeah, I couldn't say it any better than you said it. And by the way, Coach, the thing that comes out of the ceiling in the gym, it was bent back then when Randy did a reverse alley-oop, and we haven't been able to get it straight since. So, we've had to play on kind of an alternate goal over there. But no, but all seriousness,
I think the reality is Coach Carney had me and you sitting up there videotaping the other real athletes playing, and that's the reason it was Ben. It didn't have anything to do with me, Brett.
Well, again, we want to thank you, Dr. Reyes, for being part of the program this morning, and we're about to hit our top of the hour break, but wanted to have you on this morning to talk about what a massive hire that was for Benjamin Russell High School and getting Kurt Johnson. Our hats off to you and Shannon Benefield and Richie Brooks and the due diligence you guys have done over the last 2 months.
Well, thank you guys for having me on. Again, anybody out there listening, I just, can't say enough about being back maroon and white. And I've told people this, we've got that train rolling, and I suggest that folks get on board because, listen, I better stop. I'll get emotional here on TV. I am so happy to be here, and it's just exciting to be back. And I just am so excited about where we're going to go in the future, not only athletically, but in our arts and academics. I mean, the 3 A's and the train's rolling. You better get on.
Dr. J. Reyes, the superintendent at Benjamin Russell High School, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. We're going to go ahead and take our top of the hour break. Stay tuned. Another hour of Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
Ready for an unforgettable escape? Jump into adventure at Lake Martin, Alabama. From thrilling water sports to peaceful fishing spots, it's love at first bite every time you cast your line. Want more excitement? Catch an event with our vibrant festivals, concerts, and fishing tournaments all year long. And when the sun sets, dive downtown to discover local shops, delicious dining, and warm southern hospitality. Explore Lake Martin, where every moment is an adventure waiting to happen.
In 2025, we're hammering down high prices at Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. New Chevy Silverado 4x4 crew cabs, discounted up to $12,000 off. Brand new 2025 Chevy Equinox, the compact SUV with high-tech features, discounted up to $5,000 off. Enjoy the new year with no payments for 120 days. Choose from over 500 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way. GlennSmith.com. Get ready to smile.
Seconds.
And close high school.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Park Grill and Sunshine Eating and Air. Luke just said Luke sleeping in today. I guess, we're into the second hour now, and again, he He may be starting to catch up a little bit with his age and getting some of his sleep now. He normally run on 2 or 3 hours, but I think Luke will join us here shortly in a little bit, and we'll bring him in. I want to close out high school with the trip that we had. We're back on the road, no pun intended, with our On the Road show, and it took us to Hoover, Alabama, this past week, rightfully so, and had a chance to talk to Coach Scott Ware at Hoover and Coach Johnson, both the boys and the girls coaches, and just 2 tremendous people. I mean, you look at what they're doing with their programs. Hoover's girls are going for 5 in a row. The boys are going for 3 in a row. The boys are undefeated at 29-0. They're number 4 in the country, according to Max Preps. And I'm telling you, just 2 very humble people. When you talk to them, and that's the good thing about being able to jump on the road, and got Maddie with me this semester. I'm doing it by semester. I feel like I'm back in school, but Maddie's our intern, and boy, she's a superstar in the making as well. And she's learning. And so she and I were able to head over to Hoover, and she had never been to Hoover because she's not from here. She's from Texas. And, everybody say everything's bigger in Texas. We pulled up on the campus of Hoover, and she's like, my Lord, what in the world? I said, it's like a small college, but we're able to walk through the halls and go through the athletic department. And it's just exactly what you just heard from Jay Reyes. But Randy, Hoover did it way before anybody else did it. They built a top-notch weight facility. Like when we walked in that weight facility, I was like, good Lord. And I've been in a bunch of them now. But Hoover's still Hoover. Now, I want everybody to understand. Everybody goes, well, they've fallen off a little bit in the foot. No. They have everything that anybody would ever want, from meeting rooms to training facilities to the gym being right there in the middle of the school and kind of everybody walking around it. I love the layout of their school. Everything looks the part. Everything is clean. Just the impression of success, the impression of what you would think you walk into a championship program, you would envision. And that's what those kids carry. Every one of them were overly polite and respectful. You didn't hear a bunch of riffraff going on in the changing of classes. And, people coming up saying, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am. And you could tell, we were walking. I'll just give this story. I hadn't even told you this. Yeah, Coach Johnson. I wouldn't mess with Coach Johnson, by the way. She intimidated me a little bit. And I asked Maddie, I'm sorry, Maddie, I'm going to tell on you. I said, do you want to interview Coach Johnson or you want me to? She said, you're going to interview her. She said, I do not want to make her mad, but she's a very nice person. But she saw another student kind of walking after the bell had rung, and he was walking through the hall. She's like, where you go? He's like, well, I gotta, she's like, get your butt to class. She said, or figure out where you're going. You don't need to be out here. And when I tell you, he went on and got down the hall where he was going. And I think he was a JV basketball player, and he was trying to say, well, we were supposed to be going that. She goes, no, get on to class. But that's the kind of school they're running over there, the kind of program. I had a chance to talk to Dwayne Brown, the Tennessee signee, 6'9", and you look at that picture. I came up to his hip. I needed a stool to stand on to talk to him. And Maddie's got a picture of me interviewing him, and I look like the Vulcan statue holding up the microphone to his face. But just a great program, and I just want to go ahead and clarify that I don't think Hoover's going anywhere in any sport. Yeah, maybe they've not won a state championship in football in a few years, but they've still. And I saw Coach English when I was there, Chip English, who's now the full-time head football coach at Hoover. And I think they're going to continue to build and do a great job at that program.
Well, I don't know if you noticed yesterday, they won the indoor track and field state championships. And for the girls' side, that's multi-years in a row in Class 7A. So they expect to win championships. And this is the thing that I've always been impressed with Hoover in every sport, Brett. They don't just pick one sport like football and then just turn a blind eye to the other.
It permeates the whole school.
It does. And, I just said this to Jay, but it made me think, having AAU basketball tournaments are very, very important in these communities. We go to Hoover. I'm in that Hoover gym 3 or 4 times every spring and summer, because a majority of the big-time AAU travel basketball tournaments in the state are held there at Hoover. Why, Brett? Because they got 5 or 6 gyms in there. So you can have, and this all under one roof, they've got all of the gym space and the room that you would need to be able to hold events like that. Well, that's a lot of kids that are looking around and trying to decide, where in the world am I going to play ball? And, you know, if you see that Hoover facility and you see how much they've embraced that sport, because this is the best boys basketball team I've ever seen in the state. Anybody I talk to, I tell you this, I've been calling these championship games for coming up on 20 years. It's one of the things that I enjoy the most is calling championship basketball over in Birmingham. Probably is tops for me. I love football too, but I love the basketball. And Hoover's got the best team. Why? They've got a silky smooth wing in Salim London that's 6'5". He's a 3-year starter there at Hoover High School. They're going after their 3rd state championship. He can score it. He can get to the rim. He can shoot it from the perimeter. They always have great guard play, Brett, but they are massive in the post. And it's not only Dwayne Brown. They got the other kid standing beside him that's either 6'10" or 6'11".
He's 6'10".
He's a bigger body also than Dwayne. So they've got amazing size and athleticism, and they're coached up as well as anybody. And they got a chance. If they're sitting at number 4 in the country right now, they hold suit and win out. They got a chance to win a national championship in high school basketball. When's the last program in the state of Alabama that's done that?
And I'd have to dig. You'd have to dig. I don't know. They just went to Alaska and won a tournament. That's the 2nd time. Right before he became the head coach in 2012, they went out to that same tournament in Alaska. So they've won that tournament twice now in school history. So they've got a long-standing history. And I want to say something about what you said about track and field. When you turn the corner and walk down the hall where all the coaches' offices are, on the wall, on shelves going on both sides are nothing but track and field state championship trophies. I've never seen anything like it in my life. And that's what Coach Ware said. He said, this is nothing but track and field in this hall. And I mean, it's like, so if you're a track and field person and you're an athlete and you live in that area, where are you going to school? You're going to go where you walk down that hall, and it's not a cut against the other schools, but you're going to go where you walk down a hallway and there's nothing but blue map after blue map after blue map over multiple coaches. Okay. So this thing is like you said, it probably doesn't get the notoriety of the football. We want to go, oh, well, Hoover hadn't won a football championship in a few years. Their whole programs must be going down the tubes. Well, that can't be further from the truth. So we got to take a break. We come back, we'll keep talking about it, but we'll dive into some college as well. But I'm telling you, that's one of the more impressive stops I've been to with our show. So, all right, up against the break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Discover great deals on Kawasaki motorcycles, watercraft, side-by-sides, and more. Save big on championship-proving KX motorcycles. Get a great deal on iconic Kawasaki jet ski personal watercraft, or take advantage of big adventure for less with savings on our rugged Terex side-by-sides. There's no better time to save on our exciting lineup of Kawasaki vehicles. Visit Adams Motorsports on the Boulevard today, or see all the Kawasaki products at adamsmotorsports.com, where your pleasure is our business.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Again, get your comments rolling in. We appreciate all of those that are coming in. Just said, Brett, if you won't do the political show, will you do a card break show? Why don't we just do both, right? I'll just stay on all day. I'll just go from podcast to a break show to a political show, then to Auburn Blitz at noon on TV, and then we'll just come up with something else to do in the afternoon. We'll do I don't know what else kind of show you want to do, whatever everybody wants to offer.
I'm here for the political show. The blowtorch and the bone political show sounds great to me. I'm staying on it, Justin. Y'all can do all that card cutting y'all want. That's a certain segment of the population. That segment of the population reminds me of the Star Wars video that you showed me before we went on air yesterday, Justin. You got to. Have you shared that with Justin?
I haven't yet, but I'm just going to tell you. And look, I like the movie Star Wars, but I remember because I was still at Auburn in '99, like when they announced that. Well, they had announced it several years ago that they were going to release another Star Wars movie. And, of course, that energized and got that whole group of people just over the top excited. Well, shit, man, I'm sorry. When the movie theaters, you talk about a mob scene and attacking. When they opened the door for Phantom Menace in 1999, that first old boy that went through the door, he collapsed on the floor. He was so emotional. And they got into the movie theater, and they had all-out war in there with lightsabers. They was down there. They're so excited. This is like Christmas on steroids for people. And then they got in there, and they finally got them all sat down in their seats, and they're trying to calm everybody down. And, the start of Star Wars starts off in a galaxy far, far away, and, it kind of just sits there. And you hear that first bit of music, and it pops up the Star Wars logo. Ding! Like that place, I thought the roof blew off. It's like, but you got to go find that on YouTube. I mean, it's out there, and Justin, I will share it with you because I know you will appreciate it very much. But again, we'll continue to take your comments. Again, we've had a great show this morning, a lot to talk about. We'll shift our focus now to college basketball. Auburn and Alabama, they're just the top 2 programs here in this conference. Auburn's number 1 in the country. Alabama's number 4 in the country. They're on a collision course here in a couple of weeks in Tuscaloosa for that first round of the Iron Bowl of basketball. Randy, that game will be on February the 15th. That's a Saturday. That's going to be exciting to see how that plays out. Now, both teams definitely have tough games in between. Auburn's got to play Ole Miss and Florida. In the meantime, I know Alabama's got some tough games ahead of them as well, but you look at Auburn taking on Ole Miss today and Alabama taking on Georgia. Georgia can go into Coleman Coliseum if Alabama's not playing well, and they can challenge them. We know that. Auburn obviously can lose today on the road at Ole Miss if they're not playing up to par. So every time you go out on the floor, you better bring your A game.
Well, Auburn, the unanimous number one, but, it's a lot easier to look into betting odds to see what nationally people feel about your program. And currently, I think Duke is slightly above Auburn in the betting odds to win the national championship. And guess who's third, Brett? Alabama. So two of the top three, and Auburn is just very, very slightly behind Duke when it comes to that. And so it's an amazing time to be a college basketball fan in the state of Alabama. Samford and UAB have got outstanding programs. They're tournament teams too, Brett, but I think the two best teams, bar none, are Alabama and Auburn here in this conference. And here's the reason. Auburn's able to win 2 basketball games without the best player possibly in the country. And he comes back, and I do think that he's been a necessity to pull these last 2 wins off. Right. And then Alabama at times. I thought Mark Sears, I said it over and over last year, I thought he was the best player in the conference last year. Up to a couple of weeks ago, he was averaging 19 points per game. He was leading the conference in scoring. And he's had a couple of games here of recent that he didn't play a minute in the second half. For whatever reason, Nate Oates sits him. And he goes for 0 that night. And he's had some games where you go, what's going on there? But Brett, Auburn and Alabama win without him. I mean, do you know how hard it is to take the very best players, 2 of the top 5 players in the conference, without a doubt? I mean, 2 first-team All-SEC players and possibly 2 first-team All-Americans. Take them off of your team, and you're deep enough to still win basketball games in this conference on the road like Auburn did a couple of times. That's how good these 2 teams are. And I don't think either have reached their ceiling yet. I've watched enough of Alabama to know that those 2 other guards, and look, we can say what we want about Holloway. Nate Oates has gotten something out of him that I didn't think Auburn was going to pull out of him. And right now he's one of the top shooters in the league. And Auburn, on the other hand, go out and get Tahad Pettiford and Miles Kelly in replacement of him, and I wouldn't trade them back for him to give up the 2 that we've got. So 2 tremendous teams, both of them make it to the Final Four. I wouldn't be surprised.
I had somebody ask us on the podcast yesterday who got the better of the deal, Auburn or Alabama, with Aiden Holloway going to Alabama. And I said, I think both did. I think that Auburn definitely embraced and has been excited about what Tahad Pettiford's brought to the table out of the gate. And I think Alabama grabbed Aiden Holloway coming off a subpar year from Auburn and really have seen what we all thought he could be and become what we all thought he could be at Alabama. So they've been able to get the most and the best version of Aiden Holloway they can. So I think everybody won in this deal. I don't think there was a deal where, anybody's upset. Obviously, Alabama's great with it because he's improved. Now, he didn't come out of the gate playing like this, but he's found himself. But nobody's looking in the rearview mirror at Auburn going, well, I wish we had Aiden Holloway back instead of Tahad Pettiford. So I think everybody kind of wins in this deal. Look, Trey Donaldson's a good guard that we lost to Michigan, but, you replace him with Miles Kelly. I mean, nobody's saying, hey, and I love Trey when he was here. And I think Trey was a good player, and I don't think he holds any ill will toward Auburn. But, hey, we were able to go get Miles Kelly, and I think we upgraded in that position as well. So all's good. And I think if you're Auburn right now, you're not complaining about anything. You're the unanimous number 1 team in the country. Let's talk about these standings real quick before we go to our next break. Auburn at the top at 7-0, Alabama at 7-1. They're just a half game behind Auburn there in the loss column. Missouri, what a story. 5-2 along with Florida. This time last year, Missouri hadn't won a game. They were South Carolina. Those 2 teams have swapped positions. South Carolina was the number 1 team in the league this time last year, and Missouri was the team that didn't have a win. So those 2 teams have kind of flip-flopped in the position. Texas A&M and Ole Miss are both 5-3. Vanderbilt is 4-3 along with Kentucky. Tennessee and Mississippi State are 4-4. And then Georgia, Texas are 3-5, Oklahoma 2-5. LSU 1-6, Arkansas 1-6, and South Carolina 0-8. So if you get past the last three, LSU, Arkansas, South Carolina, there's still brackets out there that have Oklahoma and Texas and Georgia in the NCAA tournament. I mean, you're looking at upwards of 13 possible teams that have a shot to get in the NCAA tournament, Randy. So a lot of parity in this league, and I don't know how it's all going to end up, but man, it's a brutal league. You better be able to play your best game every time you go on the floor. All right, let's take our next break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Alex City and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone 256-750-0381 or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at dunningroofingal.com for more information.
Seconds. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Hopefully there is a Luke Robinson sighting shortly. Hope everything's okay. Just said, I'm a nerd, but I'm not that bad. No, you are not. I've never seen you collapse from so you're so overwhelmed from excitement that when they opened the door, you just collapsed in the doorway. I can't believe he just didn't get trampled right there. But anyway, he made it in and he pulled his lightsaber out and got in a fight with somebody down there in front of the movie screen. But anyway, going back to this game, let's start with Auburn and talk about them. Ole Miss is a tough opponent. Chris Beard is a great coach. He's done a great job of building that program over there in Oxford. And look, you brought it up on the show yesterday. The thing that gives me a lot of hope in going over there and getting a win is that they don't score a lot of points, and they've only scored over 80 points one time this season. And so
in SEC play.
In SEC play, I'm kind of out of the pre.
Sure.
Everything I talk about now is basically SEC. But bottom line is the way Auburn defends is going to make it even harder today to get to 80 if you're Ole Miss. Not saying you can't, but you like your chances because of the way Auburn plays defense, Randy.
Well, from a size standpoint, Auburn's just bigger across the board. From the 1 to the 5, Auburn's got anywhere from a 3 to 6 inch margin on who they'll match up with. And but the thing about Ole Miss reminds me an awful lot of Tennessee defensively with the physicality that they have. Even without the size, Brett, it's the strength. When you watch Ole Miss, they look exceptionally physical. And that played out in Tuscaloosa with the one loss in the SEC for Alabama. It was the way that they defended Alabama that won that basketball game. And all of us were shocked because that's the best offensive team possibly in the country, but definitely the best offensive team in the SEC's Alabama. And what were they held to that night in Coleman Coliseum?
64 points.
Sub 70 points. So there's that blueprint sitting out there on what Ole Miss, will expect to do or try to do against this Auburn team. Watching Auburn the other night, Auburn's guard play from an offensive standpoint's got to take another step back up. I don't know what we're missing there, but we are missing something. You keep bringing up CBM offensively. He's a little out of sorts and would be nice to get him back in the flow and get him a big game. Janai is definitely gimpy, but a gimpy Janai with how unorthodox he is getting shots up with that left hand and how big and physical he is. He's still 26-16 good over LSU the other night, even gimpy. But Miles Kelly is the consistent right now, Brett. He's been probably the biggest get for Auburn in the offseason. In SEC play, he has been very, very consistent, and I think the ceiling is still higher for him if we leaned on him a little more on the offensive end, and I bet we do. I bet we do get a feel that this guy probably could average 16 to 18 points per game instead of the 11 or 12 that we're getting from him now. And as the season moves on, Brett, and I'd expect him to get, I don't know his minutes, but
I've got him right here.
He was used to playing a majority of the minutes, if not all minutes, at Georgia Tech. So he's used to that. He's got the frame for that. And
he's getting 26 minutes a game.
I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't go to 30 or 31 as we go down the stretch. That's how important I think he is.
Well, let's talk about this. We talked about it on the podcast. Janai Broome, 28 minutes a game, 18.2 points a game, 11.2 rebounds a game. We know his stat line. He's up for Player of the Year for a reason. All right, so when it drops off, Chad Baker-Mazar at 12.7 points a game. That's going down, by the way. 25 minutes a game. Todd Pettiford's getting 20.9 minutes a game, almost 21 minutes there, 11.7 points a game. Todd Pettiford's almost averaging what Chad Baker-Mazar is averaging. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know. I think Todd Pettiford's maybe going up and he's coming down. Miles Kelly, 26 minutes a game, 10.5 points a game. Denver Jones is down to 10 points a game. That's dropped. He's averaging 26.9 minutes per game. Chaney Johnson's at 23.7. He's dropped below double-digit points per game now. He's 9.9 points per game. So it drops off precipitously after Janai Broome. Our scoring has gone down in SEC play. Chad Baker-Mazar, to me, is the biggest concern out of all this group. I know Denver Jones, what he brings to the table defensively, he's guarding the number one player usually for them outside. So he's expending a lot of energy, but he's shutting them down, so it's kind of canceling itself out. We don't lose our best offensive player when Denver Jones is out there canceling theirs out. We still have Janai Broome, which makes us a little bit different than everybody else. Plus, I think Miles Kelly picks up the slack on that. But if Denver could get back to scoring a little bit more, man, that's just a bonus for us. But I do know we need Chad Baker-Mazar to be the best version of himself coming down the stretch. So whatever he's got to do to figure it out, would love to see him have a good game today. Would love to see him score 15 to 18 points in this matchup today. Would love to see Chaney Johnson kind of get back going again. Bruce said it on our show Monday in our interview. He said, look, Chaney Johnson's going to be that guy. It's going to happen where the threes are going to start falling for him this year. He said, I'm just telling everybody. And we saw him hit a big one the other night. I think Chaney Johnson could be a guy that if he starts becoming a threat from outside, that changes everything. So we've got some pieces like you've been saying, Randy. We're not playing anywhere close to the potential of this team right now, and we're still winning, which is an awesome thing.
Yeah, all of those guys could get 20 at any given night, and I think that's a benefit to what Bruce Pearl's put together. But I'll go back to my previous statement. For me, I think Miles Kelly, as we move forward, gets another 5 or 6 minutes a game. We find ways offensively to get him some more open looks, move the offense in that flex system around with him a little more than maybe we've seen with Denver. And if we can get him to the 15, 16 point per game average here in SEC play, and once we get into tournament play, I like our chances better. I think he's the best offensive player of that group. I think he can go get a shot even when it's not an outside shot. I know that he's got the mid-range and the length and the athleticism to get the ball to the rim too. So I'd lean more on that than I would the other. If you just got me, look, we're the unanimous number one. The heck do I know? I'm just sitting here as the rest of us Auburn fans looking around saying, where's the ceiling and how do we get there? To me, the ceiling, one of the keys to get to the ceiling is Miles Kelly to be leaned on a little bit more. And I think if he is, he can give us more.
Randy, I know you got to get out. Luke's about to pop in, and we're going to go ahead and take our next break here on TV and radio. So stay tuned. More to come on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Thunderbolt Lightfoot at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now, let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now, they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's, Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rates. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekends. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SEC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
2025 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World. '25 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Again, can't thank them enough. Welcoming in Luke Robinson now. Luke, you kind of have had a tough week. You've had a loss in your family, so our thoughts and prayers are with you and Krista and the loss of her father. So, again, but we do appreciate you jumping in here to finish out the show. You're going to head over to the Alabama-Georgia game today, and we just talked a little bit about Auburn, so let's shift over and talk about Alabama. Alabama, since the Ole Miss game, has really kind of found themselves, and it's kind of an odd dynamic. I thought the other night watching Alabama, Mark Sears didn't look like he was going to do much again. I think he had 0 points at half and then comes out and has a tremendous second half and looks like his old self.
Yeah, he did look better. I think he had 17 points and 9 assists.
What's going on there? What's the deal? Like, it's odd, man.
I do think that it's one of those things where you go back to even something like the Illinois game. And he had 0 points. And he played a lot. And in fact, in that game, I'd forgotten this aspect, but in that game, he had said, "Hey, I don't need to go back in. They're playing better without me out there right now." That was a big time show of leadership, if you ask me. Well, then you fast forward to the Ole Miss game, or not necessarily the Ole Miss game, the game before that, the game after that, where he has 0 points against LSU, and he's just not himself, and it seems like he's in a bit of a spat with the coaching staff. And I think the coaches, Nate Oates came out. Nate Oates has been very upfront about this. Said, "Look, I said we're going to play with the team that gives us the best chance to win." And he said, "I was going to put Mark out there. I wasn't going to start him in the second half. He didn't start Cliff Amore either." He said, "I was going to put Mark out there after a few minutes, but then I looked at his body language. I said, I'm not going to do it." And I'll tell you something, as a guy who has seen this sport go from complete coach, authoritarian, whole picture, it's now gone to players have all the control.
Right.
And so to see a coach step up and say, "No, we're not going to do it that way. And if I get heat, I just get heat. And if we lose, we lose." Thank God. I feel like
it's kind of a breath of fresh. It's kind of a breath of fresh air, to be honest.
I'm like, finally, that's like, as much as I love me some Mark Sears, and he'll go down as one of Alabama's 10 best players, I believe. But holy cow, we needed it. And
I think all these coaches, Luke, you hit the nail on the head. They're coaching scared to their best players, and when you do that, and when you have coaches in the society and in the way the sport's been played now, it doesn't matter if it's football, basketball, baseball. When that player has the say over what you do, then you have no control anymore. So I think maybe Nate Oates probably sent a message not only to Mark Sears, but the whole team is like, "Look, I don't have a problem sitting this guy who is the best player on our team right over here on the bench, and we'll either win or lose without him." And I applaud him for that effort. I praise him for that effort, because you're right. I don't see it happening anymore. You can try to be all gruff and tough as a coach, but at the end of the day, we know that these players are dictating what goes on. I'm glad to see him sit him down.
Yeah, me too. And it goes back also to, you go back to the Brandon Miller situation from way back when. There's so many people. I know a former host on this show was just adamant, "Oh, he should have been suspended." And I said, "Well, for what? He was never charged with anything." And he said, "Well, he shouldn't be out that late." Well, it's okay. But it's a free country, and I'd be willing to bet that players are out that late all the time, everywhere. And he was in a bad circumstance that just sort of sprung upon him. He didn't instigate it. He wasn't even a defendant. He really was kind of wrong place, wrong time. And while Nate Oates probably shouldn't have said that in the moment because it sounded uncaring towards the victim, at the same time, it's not wrong, and there's timing involved. And he didn't ever sit him, and I at first I was like, I'd probably sit him for a game, and then as a friend of mine who's close to the program said, "What would you sit him for? Would you sit him for being out with his friends after a game? Because then we'd have to sit most of the players. And we'd have to sit most of the players most of the games. And most of the other teams would have to sit most of the players most of the games."
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I guess that's right. He was like, "Look, we just got to all accept it's a different era. And And it's not the Bear Bryant, everybody's going to be in bed at 10 o'clock. And he said, you know what? Tell you something else. When Bear Bryant said everybody's going to be in bed at 10 o'clock, guess who wasn't in bed at 10 o'clock? Most of the players.
Right.
and well, that's just the way it is.
When we live in the social media world now where everything's videoed and everything is seen. And I'll say this, and going back to that Brandon Miller incident, and look, rightfully or wrongfully, I think that was the right thing. And you can see that public opinion or public pressure would be what you would have sat him for. Not for anything he did. You would have sat him because, oh, this is what everybody wants to see, and our program's going to catch hell if we don't do it that way. Look, we just saw an instance happen in Alex City with a quote about a coach here, and that got misconstrued, and people got all bent out of shape thinking he was taking a shot at somebody else. And, it's like, well, he needs to – I can't believe he'd say that. He needs to apologize. And it's like, well, I didn't say it that way, and that's not what I intended. What am I apologizing for? Are you apologizing just because everybody else out there thinks you said it that way? Don't do it just because of appeasement of social media world. If you did something wrong, apologize or be punished for it. But if you didn't, there ain't nothing to say. It's just the way you think of the situation versus the way somebody else thinks of the situation.
Well, and also what you have to remember is there are people who already have built-in biases towards whoever.
Exactly right.
And also people hate it when other people are on top. And they're like, oh, see, I knew he was a bad guy. Well, Brandon Miller's had zero problems before that, zero problems after that. And I'll tell you, I've been in a situation in my time when I was with some people that I didn't even think were bad people, but you get caught up and you're like,
well, guess what Brandon Miller may have done? Well, guess what Brandon Miller may have done? Maybe he said, look, I won't ever do that again.
Yeah.
I won't ever be like, that was my time. I've learned my lesson. That's what we would like to all think that happens with a lot of these kids, because we were all that age at one point in time. And I can tell you, I was in places that I probably shouldn't have been. And I'm glad I got the heck out of there before something bad happened. And so,
but if you had been there when something bad had happened, you would be associated with it forever. Exactly right. And that's not fair either. Especially if you did nothing. And it's guilt by association. But again,
we know that's
we're rehashing an old thing. But I think what it proved to me is Nate Oates, while he certainly has his flaws, and he certainly has his flaws with some ways that he phrases things from time to time, especially. But
he's a socially awkward kind of guy. I'm not trying to pick on him.
I mean, he's a math guy.
Well,
math guys that aren't awkward.
Right. If you watch him, he's kind of got some tics. He kind of, he just. Again, we all got stuff we all do weird stuff. And he's just kind of, he kind of gets up there and he's kind of got that, you're right, analytical mindset type response to things. And so, being in front of a bunch of people with a bunch of cameras and crap in front of your face, people say, well, you don't get used to it. Well, sometimes you don't. I mean, sometimes that's just who you are. So,
well, not only that, when it's in front of your face and they're asking you big questions about, you're sitting Mark Sears. What the heck's all that about? And what if it is something? That's another thing. I think it was just something kind of internal that should just be handled. I mean, and maybe we as fans and reporters didn't need to know the whole story.
Well, we don't have to know every single thing that goes on.
I don't like to know how the sausage is made all the time, Brett. I've said all along. Right, I used to love recruiting a lot more before I saw I didn't even see all of it, but I saw some of the underbelly, and I was like, yeah, it kind of takes away from the. Because you always like to think people go to your school for this reason or that school for this reason.
And then you find out that's not really the case.
And it's just not the case. But what I'm saying is, in the end, I think Mark Sears handled it pretty well. He came back. He didn't have like this breakout game. I mean, 17 points is not bad, but 9 assists is awesome. But I still wouldn't say he was like the catalyst for that game. Obviously, I think that was Chris Youngblood, who was 7 of 10 from beyond the arc.
Right. Hey, let's go ahead and get this last break in. We'll keep it going. All right, stay tuned. One final segment right after this.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill, the last segment of the Sports Countdown show here. I think, now that we've shifted over to movie review of how bad some of these movies were, we will stay over a little bit when we get off here in just a minute for TV and radio. Break that movie down for Justin so everybody can. You haven't seen it yet, but it's John made us pull it up. I showed it to everybody. It's pretty special. I'll put it that way. All right, so let's go around the league to close out this segment here. Big day in college basketball here in the SEC. And, again, every time you're going to have great games just because you've got a potential of 13 teams making it in to the NCAA tournament right now. You got Arkansas going to Kentucky, Luke. Rick Pitino takes a bad Arkansas team back to his former stomping grounds in Kentucky. So not a lot of drama here for tonight at 8 o'clock. This is just not a good Arkansas team.
No, and they lost Boogie Plan for the year. That hurts.
Right.
I'll tell you, Arkansas fans have buyer's remorse right now. There's no doubt about it. The Locked On Razorbacks guy's been on Feinbaum here recently. He's got a lot of notoriety out of this. It's a good thing for him. And it's something. I mean, because Kentucky feels like the school that is resuscitating itself, and Arkansas feels like they have fallen off the map despite all this talent they have coming in. They've got more talent coming in next year, but you still sort of have the belief that no matter how much talent they have is, and again, I'm not educated enough about it to know, or even talented enough to know if this is right, but there are folks, anonymous coaches in articles saying, Calipari's methods are just antiquated. And
I said that yesterday. I used that exact word yesterday. I said it's passed him by. I think he looks disinterested, and I think it's antiquated. I think the way they play the game's antiquated. So, but yeah, I don't think again, Kentucky's favored by 10.5. I don't think there'll be much to that one. Texas A&M will go to South Carolina. You know, South Carolina's that team now that everybody goes, can we please not be the one game that they win? So you're on edge. Texas A&M, I mean, they're number 13 in the country.
They're going to beat somebody, though.
And I think South Carolina could beat Texas A&M. I mean, I'm not overly impressed with them. I'm not. Even though
they're a lot better at home.
They are a lot better at home. So they go to South Carolina. That could be a fun one. A&M's only a 5.5-point favorite there. Texas goes to LSU. Texas is a 1.5-point favorite. I watched that LSU team this week play Auburn. They're terrible. They just aren't very good. They just don't have very good players. And, you know, but Texas isn't Auburn and Texas isn't Alabama. And if Texas doesn't go down and play well, I think LSU could beat them. So I just don't think LSU is very good.
Yeah, I don't think so either. You know, Texas feels like a team that they sort of have a South Carolina vibe about it. I mean, they've beaten some teams.
They have.
But they've also, you know, been very close to beating others and just not being able to get over the hump. I think Texas is okay. I mean, they're not bad. That Cam Johnson is that his name?
Right.
He's good.
He's good.
And but otherwise, they just don't have a lot. I know Alabama goes there. I think it's a week from Wednesday. So that Alabama's stretch of they got Georgia today, they got Arkansas, then they week off, then Arkansas next Saturday, and then Texas. Those are the only 3 unranked teams they play left on their schedule. And so, I mean, the thought is, and 2 of them are on the road. So they need to go 3-0 in that stretch if they can.
I want to go through these. We got 2 minutes left, Luke. Vanderbilt at Oklahoma. That could be really interesting because Vanderbilt could get to 17 wins if they go on the road today and beat Oklahoma. Missouri, Mississippi State, that's 2 even teams. Mississippi State's a 6.5-point favorite, but wouldn't be surprised if Missouri won that ball game. But I want your take real quick in 1 minute. Florida goes to Tennessee. Man, Tennessee's on a 2-game losing streak. They may lose another one here.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. I think this is the kind of game Tennessee does win, though, because it's at home. And remember, Tennessee's got a little bit of revenge factor here. You think they're going to show up motivated. Playing Tennessee, it feels like if they played Florida every time in Gainesville, Florida might win all those games by 30 because Tennessee won't get those calls they get at home. If Tennessee plays them in Tennessee and they get to bully ball, they get to hit you in the face with several elbows and knees and ankles and everything else like they do most of the time, then I think Tennessee can win.
Well, let's just think about this, Luke. If they do lose this game, they will have lost 4 out of their last 5 games.
Yeah, because I feel like this is Tennessee's game to win. I really do. And I think they're going to push Florida around a little bit. And they're, you know, out for a little bit of measure of revenge because that game really did bring them back down to earth. They really, in a way, haven't recovered from that blowout.
No, they've been struggling for sure. All right, we got to get out for TV and radio. Again, want to thank everybody for watching and listening. We'll be back with you next week for another edition of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Landowners, farmers, and landscapers, it's time to fall back this fall at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor on Highway 280 in Alex City. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor has the year's best terms on almost all our Mahindra tractors. Now, get up to 84 months of 0% financing on Mahindra 1600 to 4500 series tractors. And package up with all your implement needs. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor also has 0% financing or up to $1,000 rebates on most 24 Spartan zero-turn mowers. The rates can't fall anymore at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Wintertime in the South is mild compared to other parts of the country, but we still tend to be less active and spend more time indoors. Show your heart some love this winter by getting it checked out at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sublett, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.